Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. I have gone through this several times, fixing all of the mistakes that I caused in the last episode. There were a number of wires that were not hooked up. There were a number of pipes that weren't hooked up correctly. It was all just a big mess. But I think I've gone through each factory individually. I've checked their inserters. I've checked the wire pulls. I'm not saying that I got it 100%, but I think I've got it fairly decently down. So yeah, I'm hoping all the wires are done now. I made this little transition piece over there. I don't have any sort of lane balancer or anything on there. I figured, you know what, we'll just try it out. Leave the optimizations out for later till we actually see if there are any problems. And I'm just actually going along right now and scanning to see if there's anything that we missed. Everything, I'm saying we, like, it's not me that's messing everything up completely. But I got that done. I put in the rocket silo right here. It's not the best looking thing in the world, but I believe it's gonna work. We've got the insert on this belt and this belt right here. We've got the output on the two belts right here. Inputs on all the other three belts are right here. So that should work fine. The looks a little bit goofy here with the piping, but I was trying to save as many tiles as I could, and that was the way to do that. And I've set up these guys right here to pull the science out. I'm just pulling them out to requester chests, provider chests. That's like the third time I've done that this series. The red ones are provider chests. That's what they do. They provide. Passively, actually, is what they do. I don't know if we're going to put labs set up or anything like that to where the labs will directly take it out. Seems like that would make sense. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. I'm in the creative mode, right? I moved it all over to creative. I considered doing it on the regular, but you know, we've already modded this series. Let's get it into creative mode where we can easily fix our mistakes. So I have some fluid sources here that are providing the fluid that we need, and I've got some matter sources here that are producing our inputs. I found a new 12-to-12 balancer that I downloaded off the internet, so I'm sure it'll work just out great. And we're feeding in, we only have 11 belts coming in, so that should work out great since we're only going to be taking 5 belts out. I basically did 4-to-2 balancers all the way around and just did one lane on the middle one. I'm hoping that's not going to cause any backups. We'll see. And then I put the fish filters on all the splitters so you don't get things stuck. If you haven't seen my previous videos on the subject, if you get splitters like this that are dead end, you will get items. I don't remember if it's 4 or 6 that will actually end up stuck on this side with no way out. And when you're using a counter, that can set your count off a little bit. Granted, with some of the quantities we're dealing with here, that's within the margin of error, but still, we do it as part of completeness. I've set up this right here, which is kind of the control panel. These are the constant combinators that hook into our requests network. And I've filled out all the things here with stuff and all the items that we're producing and numbers. These numbers I pulled off of the Factorio calculator. I don't know. I guess I could probably sit out and work out the math and mini spreadsheets and naps later and help from the wife. But we will we'll just start with the numbers that are on the calculator, and that is where we'll get that. And somebody had asked about how I got my belt count. Same thing, off of the Factorio calculator. It lists the amount of belts that you need to carry all this stuff, as well as this is actually how many of these we should need per minute in order to produce one science a minute. And I think it's going to be over because I don't think there's really any way we're going to be able to produce the guys running at full speed. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. We'll see how close we can get. So yeah, let's let's turn it on, as I'm sure that's what we're all waiting for. We just want to see ourselves turn the switch and just see how horrible this ends up. And we will do that right after these messages. All right, just a quick note on these guys right here, and it's something that I've done. I don't think I've ever actually explained it, and if you're doing something like this, it may be something that you're curious about. But the natural state of one of these guys, and I'll get to launching the thing. Don't worry, we'll get there. We've got 20 minutes in this video. But the natural state of these guys right here, when they are stopped, is to stop the items right here, and you'll notice that these are in. I have actually gone through and set a little area. Let's see, I don't want that going out on the green network, but I've faked it to get it that far because the counts are more accurate whenever they're pushed up against the side. That's not intuitive to me, but that seems to be the case. I did some testing with some chests and some of these things, and it turned out that the count was accurate whenever it was like this. It stopped prematurely if you started it with those guys on the other side of the belt, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I haven't really thought about it or looked into the issue very much, but that is definitely a thing that is. So I'll quit stalling, and let's just turn this thing on and see what happens. All these combinators are off. Let's just turn them all on. All right, and that is a lot of items coming in. I guess the first test is going to be, do these things turn off? And the steel and the coal have turned off. That is a very, very good sign. We're starting to get solid fuel, sulfur, things like that coming through on the back end, so that means some of the fluids are working. We're still getting iron and copper going in at full steam, though. And this line here is kind of backing up a bit, which doesn't make me happy. Let's see, what are our iron and copper numbers right now? 3.3 and 800, which we're actually requesting 3.5 and 2. Okay, 3.5 copper is off. Okay, fantastic. All right, and we're getting our trickle coming in here. They're only releasing items whenever the count is below 0, which means that everything has been put onto the network. So that's looking fine. And I'm still not sure about the iron, but I'm sure it'll work out over time. Boy, this is exciting to see all this stuff going out here. This is great. Why aren't you making gears? Because you've made enough gears. That's good to know. All right, well, let's just kind of go around and take a look-sees here. Copper, or the wire machines, just going all out. Circuit machines are making circuits. You're running a little low on the wire. Someone had mentioned direct inserts. That would be a good thing to do. I do agree. But I was, starting out, let's do it sushi pure and just see if we can do it this way. Whenever I was looking at these requests over here and setting those, we're starting to see some lanes back up. Yeah, that's where all the talk about the lane balancer stuff was coming from. But I just wanted to see what would happen without it. I think we're actually going to need that. But yeah, I mean, wire is at 5.5K. That is a lot of wire. That is by far our greatest quantity item we should have out on the belt. I don't think we need that much. It just seems kind of silly to me. But I don't know. We're starting with the numbers just as a starting point. We can tweak those as we go along. Now, you guys, okay, you've made all your stuff. You've made all your stuff. You are waiting for transport belt, and there's 35 of it right there. But I'm assuming that means that the transport belt that we need is out floating around on the belt somewhere, and we might be able to catch some. I don't know what the odds of that are. Seems like we've got a lot of good stuff here. I'm not seeing any of that. Well, it could be going through the middle. That's a possibility. And the odds of actually seeing it are probably fairly small. I'm trying to just scan across all these belts. We'll come back to it. You guys are full. You guys are waiting on bullets. Okay, this is the same situation here. This is a little concerning. Oh, no. There it went. Right there. Okay, so... Okay, transport belt is going out. It just has to go all the way around. That's kind of annoying. Oh, and there went one right there, too. Oh, and I just saw that go. So, that is technically working. Fantastic. You guys, okay, you're making some brick. Very, very nice. You've got wall in the can there. You are waiting on bullets. Here they come right there. And they grabbed them. Fantastic. Pipes are out there. Engines are making. Red circuits are making, which means our plastic is making it all the way around. And it is. Blue science, you're waiting on engines. We saw those being made. Ah, there it goes right there. Wow, that goes fast, doesn't it? Zip, zip. Yeah. No productivity modules there because that is a final product. Are we looking down here? Very good. Rocket fuel is in the can. Those are making. Those are all making. Very nice. You are waiting on blue chips. Okay, those are further down. You guys are making. You guys got rocket fuel in the can. Blue chips. Oh, no, he's making. So we are getting blue chips. Very good. Radar. Yeah, we need one of those like every 1,000 minutes or something like that. And you guys are waiting on batteries. Unfortunately, you need batteries, and batteries are made right there. It has to go all the way around, but over time, that should even out. I think we could probably take sulfur down a bit. Now that I'm looking at it. We don't need that much sulfur out on the line. That may be our first one. Okay, we got a backup of batteries. You guys are waiting on green chips. It's good to see that we get the normal situations that you would normally be in with a factory on the sushi setup as well. I just saw that guy go. You guys are waiting on coal, but you're making... And, yeah, we've already seen the solid fuel, so we know that's working. And you guys are backed up very well. Nice. All right, and we can check here. We do have sciences. There are many sciences in here. I'm seeing a problem. Let's see. Let's wire all these chests up. Do I have a green network on these poles? I do not. And let's send that out to just a combinator. Or actually, we can just read it off the pole. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. We have 150 red science and 9 yellow science. I would like that to be just a little bit more evenly. I think that's a good argument for keeping our labs in line. If our labs were in line, that would help control that number. Because right now, just putting them in the chests, that is going to make that just go out of control. Yeah, it's runaway red and green science right now. Red, green, and blue. And basically, we want to hold off making more red until we have enough yellow. And I think putting the labs in line is going to work with that. All right, yeah. Okay, now this goes back to a long time ago. And we're seeing lanes back up, which is not a very good sign. Yeah, they do seem to be very heavy on one side of the belt, which is kind of what I was expecting, because all of these inserters are going to send out to one side of the belt. And I believe you guys are going to prefer the bottom. So all these are preferring the bottom lane, while this one is preferring the top lane. And that is just not enough. Not enough to balance things out. It's actually looking pretty good through here, though. But we would like all this stuff to be on the inside, on the other side of the belt. I wonder... Let's take a look way down here at the other side of this. And get a look-see down here. All this stuff on the belt is just really cool. Something very triggering about that. This should not be. This should not be a thing that is. Yet that's what we've done. Spent so long wondering if we could. We never stopped to think if we should. I think we definitely should have. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to see, are these belts a little bit heavy on one side? And it looks like they are. I'm wondering... let's go ahead and clear out our inventory of items here. Since we're in creative mode, it's not such as much. And let's stop this belt. These beltas. Okay. And yeah, I wanted to do that so we could throw that stuff out on the line. How do we do that? Let's grab an inserter. And a chest. And we'll just throw all that stuff in there. We don't want that. Don't want that. And I'm pretty sure we don't want the blue belt either. But all these other things will go in the chest. And get back out on the line so our count is not messed up. Okay, so get rid of that. We want... you guys are going to be favoring this side of the belt. You know what? We've got this thing now. Where is it? Yeah, that. And let's get some armor. Lots of armor. Do we need power for that? Maybe. Let's grab one of those. I have not used this yet, but it's now in there. It's belt immunity equipment. It prevents you from being carried on by the belt, and it's absolutely fantastic in this situation. All right, let's. I want to do a push of this stuff to the other side of the belt. So let's grab. Yeah, you're distracting me. Let's grab splitter, underground, and belt. So you're going to be on that side of the belt, so let's try to push you over there. And all the other ones are going to be on the other side of the belt. And I'll try to make this look pretty later, maybe. I'm going to push you to that side of the belt. 1, 2, 3. We're missing one, right? Oh. Yeah, that's not going to work there, is it? To go out like that. And we'll push that over to the left. We'll push you over to the right. And we'll put an underground in right there. That means we've got to get you moving. Like that. And you, we can fit in right there. All right, and I have no idea what this is going to do, but we shall find out, won't we? All right. Let's see. Underground. underground, regular, 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 regular. All right, and that's not going to stop the flow. We'll get a little bit of stuff backed up here for a little while, but I think it'll find its way. It won't stay clogged up. At least, I hope not. We'll see. Did I get any stuff in my inventory? I did not. All right, and that's been backed up for a while, so we'll have to give it a little bit of time for it to unclog. And we'll take a little look-see and see what transpires after a couple of minutes. That does look awesome, though, doesn't it? I like that. That's a thumbnail right there, right? All right, so I've let it go now for a while. We're probably looking at what's the timer at? Looks like at about probably 9-10 minutes. Is what we're looking at here, and here are my observations. We're making science. We are making science. We are making it very disproportionately, though. There's got to be a system here. I think putting the labs in line is going to help with that, because they'll get taken out, but they'll back up eventually, right? The red science will back up eventually, and won't produce more until we actually use some of it. And if we go down the mining productivity path, we'll find a situation where, where are the infinite sciences at? There's one of them that takes them all, right? Yeah, follower robot count takes them all. And it's a pretty quick one, too. So mining productivity is the best, and subjectively the best. But it does not take the gray science. It doesn't use them all. But yeah, I'm thinking that'll probably take care of that, and that will solve issues and perhaps create a couple of more issues as well. The lane pushing seems to be working okay. It's all right. We are getting a little bit of backup on the inside lane now as opposed to the outside lane, but at least all these guys can put their stuff out. It's hard to make a final judgment call when the factory's not running at peak efficiency with all the sciences. But I guess it's actually should be running ahead right now, so that's actually a little bit concerning. What's more concerning to me, though, is I didn't hook up... I forgot one, a fairly important one, which is the satellite maker. I do not have this wired up, and it's pointless to wire it up now because everything started and the counts are going to be off. But I need to remember to go through and fix this and get this guy hooked up. Actually, let's just go ahead and do that now because I can take a blueprint of this and use that going forward. I knew I would miss something, didn't know what, but that is at least it's only one that I could detect. But we're pretty much at a standstill here because you've taken all the rocket fuel out, and we can't get any more rocket fuel out on the line because the numbers are all messed up. We could patch it, we could fix it, but at this point, I kind of want to rebuild it. Because, yeah, we're getting this stuff for robot parts, but we haven't made any because of the rocket fuel situation, which is very, very disappointing. Another couple of observations that I've seen. This middle lane right here is, like, constantly backed up. And I'm wondering if it's one of two things. One, these are going to trickle from now on, right? They're just going to like trickle little onesie, twosie ones every now and then as those items get used. And everything else is feeding into this side of the belt. You see how busy this side of the balancer is, where this side really isn't being used very much at all. So I'm wondering if we could distribute these inputs a little bit differently. So that it might clear up some of this congestion. The other thing that could possibly be causing it is that whereas I've got these set as 4-2s, this one is set down to a 4-1 belt, which is definitely contributing to that, but I wonder if we could alleviate some of that pressure just by distributing the load a little bit evenly off the balancer. I haven't tested this balancer. I just downloaded it off the internet, so I don't even know if it works. But it looks cool. It looks very balancery. Looks like a balancer that would work, right? Let's see. Other observations. There is just a ton of copper wire on this belt. And it's disproportionate with the amount of circuits we have on the belt. You would think, well, as we get more copper wire compressed down into green circuits and red circuits, and we're still adding more wire. We're still keeping that ludicrous amount of wire. So that may be the very first thing we tone down. It's just there's wire everywhere. It's all over the place. It's taking up the majority of the belt, it seems. You just take a random sample anywhere, there's wire. You go over here, there's wire. Down here, wire. Wire everywhere. So yeah, I'll probably have to tweak some of those numbers, but I'd rather get everything else running first. It's really hard to tell if that lane pusher is actually working. And you know what? I'd rather actually I'm not dealing with inventory stuff. I could just take that out. There we go. And we can move on the belt a little bit faster. Creative mode has a speed tweak that makes you move really fast. I generally turn that off because it gives me anxiety. It's moving so fast. Yeah, I mean, it's working. It's clearing out this side of the belt for these guys at the bottom. And it looks like it's going pretty well. But it's really hard to tell without a full operation happening, because we're not going to make low-density structures or control units or anything like that because of the satellite machines blocked up. But I think it was a successful test. I was expecting bad things to happen. It could have been a lot worse. I'm not testing any of this stuff out. I'm going on my intuition here on the way that it should work, based on basically the preparation I've done for this and the testing I've done for this. You've seen in my creative series as I was messing with that stuff. But I mean, I think this is going to work. I think it's definitely within reach. And it looks really cool. I don't think we're going to get I don't think we're going to get 1 science a second out of this. I'd be curious to see what those numbers are. Well, let's just have a look-see here, shall we? 27. 17. And we're not consuming any. 7. Yellow science doesn't even show on the chart because we haven't made one in the last 10 minutes. 0.6 a minute. All right. Yeah. No, we got some tweaking to do. But overall, I think this is a good test, and I've got some things to tweak. I want to mix up those balancers. I want to mix up some of the numbers, and I want to try to run it again with satellites going. So that'll be an exercise kept for next time. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.